Shannon Sharpe, well, he ain't going back to ESPN. Apparently, ESPN actually does have, like, a red line. Like, something you can't do.
That explosion, that wasn't just a sound effect. That was Shannon Sharpe's media career detonating in real time. Because when ESPN cut ties with Shannon in 2024, it wasn't over sports. It wasn't about debates. It was about one thing: reputation. A $50 million lawsuit, a public accusation, and a woman who the day after the settlement vanished from OnlyFans.
Friends, Gabriella Zuniga has taken to the streets of social media to announce that she has retired from OF.
Now the question is simple. Did Shannon fumble the bag, or was he set up from the start? Before the headlines, Shannon Sharpe was riding high. From the NFL gridiron to center stage on television, his second act was arguably more dominant than his first. After retiring as a Super Bowl champion and Hall of Fame tight end, Shannon reinvented himself, this time with a microphone. He didn't just talk sports, he commanded the room. His chemistry with Skip Bayless on FS1's Undisputed made him a fan favorite. Whether he was pulling out the black and milds or breaking down football with surgical precision, he brought humor, intelligence, and presence. But in 2023, he made a massive career move, leaving FS1 and joining First Take on ESPN alongside Stephen A. Smith. The move felt like a power shift, a new era. Shannon was stepping into even brighter lights on the biggest platform in sports television, and he didn't miss a beat. Debates went viral, clips racked up millions of views. The internet couldn't get enough of Shannon's passion, his punchlines, and his presence. He had become more than a commentator. He was a cultural voice, the kind of media personality ESPN would usually protect at all costs. But behind the scenes, that protection was never guaranteed. In April 2024, everything changed. A lawsuit was filed in Nevada, quietly at first. But once the documents became public, the shockwaves hit fast. A woman identified only as Jane Doe accused Shannon Sharpe of sexual assault. Not once, but twice. Once in October 2021 and again in January the following year. She was a former girlfriend, according to reports. But now she was seeking $50 million in damages. Shannon Sharpe denied every claim. In his words, this was a shakedown, a manufactured scandal built for profit. But whether true or not, the damage began the moment the headline dropped. At the center of the lawsuit was attorney Tony Buzbee, one of the most aggressive, high-profile lawyers in the country. This is the same man who went after Deshaun Watson, Diddy, and even British Petroleum. He doesn't take small cases. He goes for headlines, settlements, and 9-figure victories. And now Shannon was his next target. It didn't matter that no charges were filed. It didn't matter that he called it a setup, because the second his name got attached to that lawsuit, the clock started ticking on Shannon Sharpe's career. Not long after the lawsuit surfaced, Shannon disappeared from ESPN's programming. No statement, no farewell segment, just gone. The same man who was headlining First Take every morning was suddenly off the screen, and the network said absolutely nothing. To the average viewer, it felt strange. To those paying attention, it felt intentional. Jason Whitlock, a longtime critic of ESPN's culture, said early on, "Shannon ain't coming back." And like clockwork, he was right. Behind the scenes, ESPN wasn't just protecting its audience, it was protecting its parent company, Disney, a brand that leans heavily on clean image, family values, and staying out of controversy. Shannon had brought them numbers, no doubt, but when your name gets tied to a lawsuit that includes disturbing allegations, even without charges, that's enough for the Disney machine to quietly hit the eject button. They didn't need a conviction, they just needed a reason. As the public speculated about Shannon's sudden disappearance, the lawsuit quietly settled behind closed doors. No televised trial, no witness stand, no statement from either side, just a quiet agreement and an even quieter payout. Shannon never admitted guilt, the woman never returned to court, and Tony Buzbee, he got another W on his resume. But here's where things get messy. The terms of the settlement were never made public, but in cases like this, a settlement almost always means one thing: money changed hands. Shannon didn't lose in court, but he didn't walk away for free either. And the very next day, something bizarre happened. The woman who accused Shannon shut down her OnlyFans account and vanished from the platform completely.
In the statement posted on her Instagram story, Gabriella wrote, "Today I have decided to retire from OF. Thank you for the incredible support you've shown me over the past few years. This community has given me a life I could have never imagined. I'll still be active on social media and have several new projects in the works that I can't wait to share. I'm truly excited for this next chapter. I love you all forever and ever. But the kicker is at the bottom, she wrote, "What a journey it's been."
No post, no explanation, just silence right after the bag was likely secured. To the public, that raised red flags. Fans asked, if this was about justice, why does it look like a cash-out move? What should have been closure only added more mystery and more fuel to the idea that Shannon was a target from the very beginning. It didn't matter if he was telling the truth. In the court of public opinion, the optics were louder than the evidence.
Tony Buzbee didn't stay quiet.
Shannon accused him of targeting black men, and Buzbee fired back in Esquire. He listed off his targets: BP, Jay-Z, big corporations, Diddy, Deshaun Watson. "I don't sue people for their skin color," he said. "I sue because the case is worth my time." He's built a legal empire off big cases. His firm has won over $500 million in settlements. Some call him a hero, others call him a bounty hunter in a suit. But either way, Shannon was just the latest headline.
Even after the accuser retracted her claim, it didn't matter. The damage to Shannon's image was done. ESPN had already moved on. And social media? That was even worse. The memes, the accusations, the podcast takes. One of the most respected voices in sports was now a punchline. In the eyes of the public, perception was reality, and Shannon's name was no longer safe.
The irony? Shannon had warned about this for years. On Club Shay, in interviews, on social media, he constantly preached what he called D-discipline, a message to men about protecting their image, their money, and their future. All box ain't good box, he used to say. You don't let 5 minutes of fun ruin 20 years of work. It was advice rooted in experience, in pain, and now in consequence. Because Shannon Sharpe didn't just lose his ESPN seat, he lost control of his narrative. And when you're in the spotlight, that's everything. He warned athletes and entertainers about traps, about chasing the wrong people, moving too sloppy, not thinking long term. And now, the trap had closed in on him. There were no mugshots, no convictions, but it didn't matter, because the accusation alone was enough to end what he built. "I'm married to the game," he said, "married to my purpose, only humble to God." It was a powerful statement, but for many, it came too late. And that's what makes this story so painful. Shannon knew the playbook, he wrote the warnings, but in the end, even he couldn't escape the consequences of fame. Because when you're at the top, it's not just about what you do right, it's about who's waiting for you to slip.
Shannon's story isn't just about sports or lawsuits. It's about clout and the cost that comes with it. Because when you reach the top, people don't just celebrate you, they circle you. Every mistake becomes a headline. Every friend becomes a risk. Every moment becomes a screenshot waiting to go viral. He had the money, the platform, the voice, but what he didn't have was protection from the spotlight. This is what happens when fame meets strategy, and the wrong person sees you as an opportunity. In the end, Shannon wasn't taken down by facts, he was taken down by perception. And that's the part no one talks about. You don't need to be guilty, you just need to be accused. Shannon didn't go to jail. He didn't lose in court, but he lost something bigger: public trust. ESPN dropped him without a word. The lawsuit vanished, and the accuser retired from OnlyFans like it was mission accomplished. It's a blueprint we've seen before. One accusation, one lawyer, one silent settlement. And whether you believe Shannon or not, this much is true. The court of public opinion doesn't wait for evidence. This wasn't just the end of a media run. This was a warning for everyone in the spotlight. You can build a legacy for 30 years and lose it all in 30 seconds. So the next time you see a headline, don't rush to judge, because behind every accusation is a life, a story, and sometimes a setup. This was Shannon Sharpe's collapse, but in a world like this, he won't be the last.